Hello and welcome everyone. I am Rashi Goyal and I have with me today Miss Priyanka Gupta. Priyanka is the founder of Reservate Constructions. Before her entrepreneurial journey, she has worked with organizations like HDFC Life and Infosys. She holds a degree in Human Resource Management from Xavier's Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar. She is also a very active person in promoting entrepreneurship and is a volunteer at Head Start Network Foundation and also the chair innovation for Young Indians. She is currently breaking stereotypes by being a woman in the construction industry. Welcome, Priyanka. Welcome to our interview series.
Thanks a lot, Rashi. That was a great introduction. Thank you.
So, I would just want to let you know that this interview series is where we are connecting with people from different walks of life and trying to understand that what works for them and what not. So, we would just want you to let us know how you go about, and if you can start off with telling us about your journey and what prompted you to move to entrepreneurship.
Sure. So, as you rightly pointed out, I'll start with my introduction. How my educational background. So, I have a degree in bioinformatics from Manet Bhopal. That's an NIT in
Hmm.
Bhopal. And after Manet, I went to XIMB for my MBA, which was in HR, as you know very
Yeah.
rightly. So that was there. After XIMB, as it happens, like after B school, we entered different corporates, and I was placed in HDFC Life, where I had the role of a business HR in a life insurance company. So there I was mostly dealing with sales employees which were there on ground, and I
Mhm.
was in charge of 10 branches in MP. So it was basically the whole of MP that I was taking care of for their sales employees. And the culture of a life insurance company is very rough because
Okay.
we all know, I mean, we have all got those calls of salespeople keep pestering us. So think about how their
Yeah.
life is. So there are disciplinary issues. There, the people there, they are not very educated. In fact, even the seniors there, they have moved up the ladder from the very junior roles. So it's a very rough culture. I did not like it very much there. So I
Mhm.
switched to Infosys in a performance management role. And
Yeah.
there I had a full corporate sort of role in Bangalore, in Infosys head office. And it was fun for a few months
Yeah.
at least. But and Bangalore, as it's a nice city, I had a good group of friends there. Office was also cool. Everything was there. I was working in performance management, which was something which was really of interest to me in HR. But फिर उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि then slowly, like, I mean, you also have experienced it. Slowly the monotony starts creeping in, and so it did creep in. And one day I was entering the office, and somebody had written on their cubicle that on notice period with a smiley. And I don't know
Okay.
why I felt so good looking at that कि अरे यार मेरा कब आएगा. And immediately it was like कि अच्छा हाँ oh wait करियो क्या. It was like that. Then something which really triggered the entrepreneurship bug was, I mean, I always wanted to start something of my own because I belong to a business family and I have seen those things, and I always wanted to do something big in life. So that was always there. But it was at the time of Chennai floods that uh, the whole of Chennai was suffering, and suddenly
Yeah.
Ola launched Ola boats.
Yes. Yes.
And I read that news, and it suddenly hit me ki, okay, here is a natural calamity where there's one startup which is helping the country out, which is helping the people out there. But what am I doing? I was just sitting in a small cubicle, working on my Excel sheets, having no power whatsoever to help anyone else. So that was one moment where I really realized ki to really make an impact out there in the society, to do something, you really need to
Yeah.
move to entrepreneurship. But that was something which stayed with me over time. But then
Yeah.
after 2-3 months itself, I realized that okay, this is something which is not worth doing. I'm not using whatever I have learned or whatever I have studied over the years. I'm just sort of wasting my education and everything else. So I resigned, and I moved to entrepreneurship. Construction was something which has always interested me because आप जब HR पे आप काम करते हो तो you are mostly working on Excel sheets and PowerPoint presentation. And you work for 16 hours a day for something, but आपको पता नहीं चलता कि वो organization में उससे हुआ क्या फिर. What did finally happen of it? You don't know. Whereas if you go on a construction site, today you would go, there would be a plain ground, and after a few months you will see a whole building there, and people are working there, people are staying there. So you can, immediately see, "Acha, this is what I have created." That was one thing. Another thing was it seemed like a really good business opportunity because not much educated contractors are there in business. That's how it happened. So I could, go and use professionalism there to drive speed of delivery of projects and professionalism, transparency. There were multiple problem statements which people face. That was there. Also, it was something which required very less assets to start off, and the ticket size is always big. So, if you get even one customer, you would earn a good chunk of revenue. So that's how I entered into entrepreneurship and thus into construction. That's how it happened.
So I would say the boredom of corporate life is actually the push towards entrepreneurship for you.
Yeah,
sort of.
That was one of the factors, I would say.
Apart from the initial seed of coming from a business family, that entrepreneurship would, is more of an obvious move, I would say.
That is there, and then also, I mean, there was that hunger to, make an impact or to look at something and say that, okay, this is what I have done or this is what I've created. So
apart from that Excel sheet.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can totally understand. I think that example that you have given and during the Chennai floods, how entrepreneurship has actually helped a lot of people. I think that's a lot of entrepreneurs out there will be able to relate to. And the reason why most of us shift into entrepreneurship because they realize that there's a lot of potential to serve the society or, just create an impact and make a name for yourself.
Right.
Great. Also, you are in Bhopal, right?
Yeah.
You are the company is in Bhopal. You are in Bhopal. It's a tier 2 city in India.
Yes.
What are the challenges and areas of opportunity that you see for anyone for any entrepreneur in a tier 2 city?
Okay, so I'll start this off again by talking about what we do. Basically, I'll talk about my business. I would not, let's not take this generally for entrepreneurs. So what happens is that for our company, how it works that, so we entered into construction and for a few years, we worked like a normal contractor, just that our technology was advanced, but we were doing the same thing like every other contractor does. That's when we identified a problem statement while working in a factory. So most of the industries, they need a dustless environment. They need a very clean environment because they have to manufacture products which have to be of international standards, and there are a lot of audits which are to be done. So they always use several coatings on the floor to make it dust free, sorry. So we realized that this particular coating that they use is something which wears off very easily and leads to repetitive cost to the company. So we thought that there should be a solution to this, and then we looked at concrete. And right now, what we do is that we have a under patent treatment for concrete floors, which we do, which makes them dustless. So we change normal old concretes to dustless concrete. So the customer segment that we have is manufacturing companies and warehouses.
Okay.
So the clients that we have today is PNG, Eicher Tractors, Vardhaman Textiles, and so on and so forth. But now coming to the challenges which I faced, so how we got the initial set of clientele was that we used to visit industrial areas or used to cold call them and visit their admin and maintenance department. There we used to go and pitch our products. And then obviously, since it is a B2B solution, it takes good 6 months to 1 year for a client to convert from the first meeting to the first project. It takes at least 6 months to 1 year. Now, what happened for us, that for example, I'll tell you the story of PNG. So PNG was something, I mean, they always say there that, okay, you gate crashed PNG. So I visited their premises around 4 o'clock in the evening, and I said that, okay, मेरे को admin department में मिलना है. So this person was there, and the guard was there, and he said कि नहीं मैम, admin department में तो कोई नहीं है, let me ask once. Now PNG, because it is it's a company which follows its own standards. They said कि नहीं, there's a female vendor which has come, and so we cannot tell her to just go back like this. So let us make her meet somebody in the civil department. There I met
Okay.
the person, and he really liked the idea, and that's how PNG converted. Although it converted after a year, and then it happened. Now, it's the same how it has happened for us for all the companies. I mean, almost the same story, that we have always, worked in the local factory once, and then now today we are a national vendor for PNG, and we would be working for their other plants as well very soon. But then, had we been in a city like Mumbai or in Delhi, where you would have head offices or corporate offices of such companies, we would, directly go and pitch to the head of admin for the whole of PNG across the country. So when you go and meet that person physically, and he would immediately connect you to 3 factories. So
Yeah.
the growth is obviously multiplied like that. So right now we are working in 1 factory. We have to prove ourselves there, and then slowly we will move to 10 factories. And that would also be a very slow process. Whereas if we were in a tier 1 city, it would have been much more faster for us. That's
Okay.
one thing. Another thing
So the
is,
location in both the ways, if I see, has been an advantage for you, because then you were able to directly go to their site and meet the civil person, and
nahi,
also a disadvantage in a way that you could not meet the head.
yes, exactly. So we could not meet the country head वहाँ पर, but इनिशियली तो मतलब जो फैक्ट्रीज हैं वो हमने कवर कर ही लेते. Also, Bhopal is one area which has industries, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
There are a few which you can always visit. So we therefore had to expand to other cities. But since our base is here, it was a bit of a challenge for us. Yeah.
Okay. So I think, yeah, when you also talk to fellow entrepreneurs who are in tier 2 cities, they see it both as an advantage and a disadvantage for the same reasons that you just told us. That in some ways there is a more personal touch in tier 2 cities, where in tier 1 cities there is a little more structure which is required to be followed. So that again, based on every individual, can act as an advantage or a
disadvantage. Another very good advantage is that the cost of operations is very low. You don't have to spend much time in traveling. We have an office here. We don't have to pay enough rent, because हमारा जो burn rate है वो बहुत कम है, because of low rent expenses and all of that. So that is another great advantage, which is
actually
always
a huge
there
advantage.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, that's a very huge advantage that you have.
Exactly.
Great. We also talked about you breaking stereotypes in the construction industry. Now you've told us about how you entered the industry, what attracted you towards the industry, and how you have also had an example about PNG being a client. Can you share any incidents with you or during any client meeting, being a woman in the construction industry?
There are many. So this was one particular episode which I wrote about on LinkedIn also recently. So that was during it's again a PNG story. So they involved me when their plant was under extension, and so they have built a separate construction office for that particular site. It's a good. I mean, you enter, there's AC in a construction site office, and motion sensor lights, and it's very advanced. So I entered there, I felt very good, but then I had to go to the washroom. So I went towards the washroom area, and I saw that, okay, there's only one washroom which has clearly written over it, gents washroom. So they had motion censored lights, but they did not have a female washroom there. So I was standing there looking at the door, thinking ki acha what to do. I did not know anyone there, and the people I knew were not there. So suddenly a manager came in, and then he asked the guard ki अरे अंदर देख के आना कोई है तो नहीं. And then the guard went inside. He checked, okay, there's nobody there. And then he came out. He said कि नहीं नहीं मैम आप चले जाओ. Just when I was entering, this manager again told him कि सुनो यहीं खड़े रहना जब तक मैम बाहर नहीं आए. I felt so good and so special, you know, Rashi. I mean, never. So I have always been a tomboy, and I have never felt, never experienced chivalry in my life. But that was one moment when I thought, ki, oh wow. So this person guarded the door for me. I went inside, relieved myself, and came back. And then this sort of, you know, became a ritual. So every time I would come out of the washroom, there would be like 2 bodyguards standing there, and it felt really nice. So I was like, "ठीक है, मतलब maybe मतलब it's okay if people do not, you know, pull chairs for you, but it is always better if people guard the doors." So that really made me feel special. And
But
they
then
great in there, huh?
I think then the guards would have known when madam has to go to the washroom and they know your routine. That would be the funny part of it.
Exactly.
Ma'am has come now. In the next 2 hours, she'll be going. We have to be
She'll be
stationed.
going back. And the worst part was I could not spend much time there inside because they would be like, "Itna time ho gaya aaj to." Anyway, that's different.
Yes, but that actually tells us the fact that the rarity of women in this industry, and the
Exactly.
fact that even a washroom is not existent. I think
Exactly.
I've heard similar stories. I have heard Sheryl Sandberg's story, for example. When she went for
I
a
read
meeting
that.
for the
Yeah,
first time, there was no female washroom. Imagine, and this is not even India we're talking about, and not even construction. She's gone for a board
exactly.
meeting, in the investors meeting, and they only expect men in that stream. And I think Miss Leena Nair also had a similar story. She's very
She
nicely
commented on
commented
this
on
one.
your
Yeah,
post,
yeah.
right? It's been called
So,
Leena's Loo.
that was it. Acha, isme the best part was one day the project manager, this person whom I had met for the first time when I entered, so he happened to be the facilities head there. He visited that office one day and then he was quietly observing and he asked me, Kacha, how do you manage going in the most polite manner? He asked me this and I told him, Ki, Nini, this is the ritual that has become here. And so, and then he apologized, you know, and then he said, Ki, we are so sorry. We never expected a girl to be in here in this office. So I'm so
Yeah.
sorry for this. But yeah, you can use this and this. You can. And then he also introduced me to the HR there. And they all really take care of you then. So yeah.
No, I'm
That
sure once people notice that there is a presence of females in certain industries and certain situations, that will slowly and steadily come there. I'm
that's it.
sure it is increasing
The
nowadays.
the advantage, you know, which has worked for me is ki since there are very less girls here, when I go for client meetings and all, people, you know, they remember you. They would
That's
not
that's
they
correct.
might
Yeah.
not remember the product that you have, but they would remember कि हाँ हाँ वो एक लड़की थी वो आई थी, because they are not used to see women there ना. So they,
Yeah.
and always the first question that I've always got in any client meeting was कि मैम आप कंस्ट्रक्शन में कैसे आ गए. In fact some incident happened with my car and वो जो पुलिस इंस्पेक्टर थी, she was, you know, making a challan for me and then she asked me somehow, I don't remember why, but she asked me कि क्या करते हो आप, कहाँ जा रहे हो. मैंने बोला मैम मंडीदीप जा रही हूँ. मंडीदीप इज द इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया एंड आई टोल्ड हर कि मैम
हाँ.
मंडीदीप जा रही हूँ, कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम है. And then she was writing a challan and she suddenly looked at me and she was like कि अब तो मैं ऐसी थी कि अच्छा सही तो भी ठीक है चालान काउंट कर दो. So everywhere, even the weddings I attend, this police incident, I told you this, every client meeting, everywhere, the first question I would always get is कि construction में कैसे. So that sort of stays with people.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that I didn't ask you that question. I only wanted to understand a more funny incident, because I'm sure you will be bored of the question of why you are in construction or
Exactly.
how it happened. But I'm sure I think that happens when anyone is breaking such stereotypes. I'm sure they get these questions asked a lot. You've talked to us about your educational background. You've talked to us about you did your masters in the field of HR, right? And you worked in the field of HR also in your corporate job. Is there something that you have taken out of this field of HR, or that you had learned or experienced in the corporate field that has been helpful in your entrepreneurial journey?
Uh, I would say कि when I was in a corporate or when I was in the B school also, हमेशा जो HR department होता है, that is always mocked. We all know.
Yeah.
There are even meme pages, and then they would call you the Rangoli department and so on and so forth. All of that would happen. But I realized that in a startup, not only in my startup, in any startup, since I have worked with a lot of others also, um, HR is actually the core of any company, and HR means actual HR. It's not
Yeah.
what they make you do in those companies there. It's basically people management that you have to know. And it's always that you should know that how to, get the initial team, how to motivate them. The words like motivation, team building, and talent management are always mocked
Yeah.
for HR, but they are actually the real thing. So when you're starting off a company, you do not have enough money to pay to somebody. So that is always not the motivation. Also, uh, firstly, you don't have enough money. Second is that if somebody is coming with you for the monetary benefits involved, he is not really a right fit. Somebody
Yeah.
should be, inspired with the vision of the company or the purpose that you are there for. That's when the person, works really well. That is the thing where HR comes in, actual
Yeah.
HR, that comes in, and you have to have a vision. You have to uh, be able to communicate that to people. You have to be able to find the right people who are the right fit for your organization, and then make them stay. Uh,
Hmm.
so that's there. So I would say that if we have to talk about real HR, then it's actually very beneficial. But what they do there in big corporates, because you're always doing a small chunk of the job. Like I said, I was working on only Excel sheets
Yeah.
and presentations. That's actually not even HR, I would say. Yeah.
So I think by the time it boils down to the last person in the chain, it changes into something that it's not supposed to be. And maybe
Exactly.
in the larger corporate, it's already so
Yeah.
structured that there's not a lot of things that we can do on ourselves, on our own as an HR professional also. So I think rightly said
Right.
when you talk about HR actually being the person who will be helping you get the right team on board initially, setting a culture for the organization. Because I think as a startup, you will understand that setting that culture in the very start is something that's very crucial for the long term, and how
Exactly.
it will actually define how your company is going to run and if it's going to run fast or not.
Yeah. It's actually the most difficult part. मतलब, or in fact, for B schools also, like we were in the same B school, and culture ke naam pe, the only thing that we have learned is its definition, right? You remember, right? So,
Yeah.
but what you should be actually taught is how to set up that culture, how to reinforce that in an organization. So, I guess that should change a bit.
Yeah. But there are a lot of practical learnings if you are actually in the right place in HR also.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of our HR colleagues would
yeah,
disagree with what you are saying because they have had the opportunity to be in a more meaty role or be in a position where
could
they
be,
have been able to create
could
an
be.
impact, or maybe are working with startups who have
Yeah,
got the opportunity to directly work with the founders. So
right.
if I may take the opportunity to say, like for example, we as the unicorn people work with startups or with business owners directly, trying to
Mhm.
get their HR to sort of get in place, put those puzzles together. It gives a lot of more meaning to the work that we do because we
Yeah.
can directly align with the vision of the founder, or we can
Mhm.
directly see that, like how you were saying, a construction site is completely blank and then you can see each and every block building.
Yeah,
I think that's the advantage of being in a smaller setup initially.
right, right.
Great, great. I think we've had a wonderful chat, Priyanka. This was truly amazing. I would really want to thank you for taking out so much time from your
Thank
schedule and
you
letting
for
us
giving this
on.
opportunity, yeah. Huh?
Great. But before you leave, I would want you to share any message out there for budding entrepreneurs. You are very active in the entrepreneurial circle. If you have any message for all of them out there.
So, the first thing I would say is first and most important thing is that please do apply common sense. uh, what we usually see is हम लोग क्या करते हैं जो already successful startup companies हैं, we always look at them and we sort of copy the outer shell that they have, or the culture. The first thing that a startup person does is go register a domain, make a website, and I was reading a report and it said that 50% of the startups which shut down in the first 6 months, the expenses that they make, so there were expenses like there was foosball tables, there were office furniture, and there was interiors and everything like that. So that is something which looks really fashionable and that gives you that that startup feel which is there. But please don't do those things. Be very miser and बहुत कंजूस रहिए, and just spend on the things which are important for your company,
Yeah.
and apply common sense. Do not read reports of Ola, Uber, and any other unicorn and just simply copy that. Just see that what is good for your company, your market, the city that you are in, and especially the kind of person that you are, because it's the founder which drives the company in the initial days. So play on your strengths. That's what I would like to say.
Great. Thank you. I think definitely common sense has become very uncommon. So we should definitely advise everyone to use that. On that note, I would like to just thank you, Priyanka. I would like to thank everyone watching this video. Thank you for joining us till the end. We will see you soon with more guests and more insights. And in case you want to know more about us or about Priyanka, we will put the link in the description box for yours. Thank you so much. Thank you, Priyanka, for joining in.
Thank you, Rashi. Thanks a lot. And thanks, Vanna, also.